What is up guys, it's Alan here from Fanboys and giving you an early access review of the Baldur's Gate 3. So after 2 decades of waiting, it's finally here. Well, some part of it for now, since it's still in early access. So I'll just make the video review as short as possible. Baldur's Gate series was originally created by the legendary RPG creators of the Obsidian Studios. But now, Larian Studios is taking over the series. But don't be alarmed, Larian Studios is also a superb studio as well. Well, given I've never really played any of the Baldur's Gate games, but I did play some of the similar games such as the recent Pillars of Eternity 2, which is also an awesome series. So what can you expect from the new Baldur's Gate game? Well, if you've played the Divinity Original Sin series, then this game will play really similar, which to some of the old players who were waiting for this game for so long might be a real turn off, well, for them. Because as I understand, the previous Baldur's Gate game were really different in terms of the gameplay, albeit it's still a top-down RPG, but the mechanics are now way different from the originals. So I could understand where they're coming from, but for me as a huge fan of the Divinity series, in fact I never really liked top-down RPGs until I played Divinity Original Sin 1. I was blown away how much you could do in such a really small package. Yeah. So with all that being said, let's talk about the gameplay side. So the new studio developed the game incorporated the mechanics of their previous title to this game. So everything in the world is interactable now, like the picking things on the ground and throwing them at your enemies, or just generally picking things up. I'll explain this later on the video. So going back to it, I think some of the old players doesn't like the new vibe to it, because it gives somewhat a colorful and a comedic vibe to it. Well, ish. Not saying it's somewhat serious, but compared to the older Baldur's Gate game, the older games tend to be dark and gritty, and I think that's where some of the complaints are coming from. So the new Baldur's Gate game is now a turn-based game, much like the Divinity series, but this time they are using the D&D tabletop turn-based, so it makes sense to make it this way, which makes the game more tactical and at the same time making the combat more a bit slow. Like for example, if you engage in a combat, characters will each take turns, making you wait for some time until it's your turn now and rinse and repeat, unless you have a lot of action points so you could eliminate enemies more faster. Or you can always use the mechanic really smart and you can ambush the enemies before they even engage you, so you could attack 2 more times. So depending on how long and hard the engagement is, it'll probably take 15 to 30 minutes for it to end. To some guys, people, only last for 3 minutes. Must be an exploit? But wait, there's an upside here, if you could agree with me on this one. So since it uses the Divinity mechanic, you can pick up anything and move it around where you want, giving that combat a flavor. Like for example, throwing an exploding barrel near your enemy and casting a fireball to it to make a big explosion. Or if you're caught in a ground of fire, you could cast a spell to extinguish it. And vice versa. It's really simple logic. It's like what you really would do on a D&D game. It makes sense. And also you can move objects around or destroy them, so you could reach places you couldn't before, giving you an advantage in combat or just from exploring in general. Hell, you can even use these objects to trap the path of your enemies. Well, probably. I haven't tried it myself. And they even added some new mechanics. You can now dip your weapon in some elements, say the ground is on fire, giving a buff on your weapon. It's a really neat mechanic if you ask me.
Especially my own.
Although there's one thing I really hate about this game. It's the rolling of the dice RNG. You have no idea how many times I loaded my save just so I could roll that 15 to persuade. Well, depending on your character's proficiency, of course. It could be intimidate, but in my case, it's persuasion. But there is a buff to make the roll lower, but even that, you can still roll a lower number. So I do hope they balance this thing out just even a little. Or you could just play really barbaric and attack everyone who disagrees with you. That'll show the devs. But then again, this is just for me. Now as for some of the positive side of things, yes, the graphics of the game is very beautiful. Every NPC also looks great and very detailed, and all the NPC you see here are all voice acted. But given the game is still in early access, there might still be some missing voice lines. It has beautiful landscapes and environment, the amazing soundtrack, The character creator is easy to understand and has a lot of options to choose from. So that is easily one of the things that will make you love this game. There is also the banter between your companions while you guys are on an adventure, just like some other RPG games like Mass Effect or Dragon Age. So this will likely reveal the personalities of your companions, which is really great actually. And as I mentioned before, you have a camp now. In the camp you could rest up and end the day, so you could replenish your action points. Or just have a conversation with your companions to get to know them more. Which leads to romance. Yes, you can romance your companion, just like Mass Effect. While as for the negative side of it, as I mentioned before, this game is in early access. That alone is a negative for me, cause for a $60 unfinished game, it's kinda hard to justify the purchase. Unless you really want to play this game. I mean, the game is good, but it is unfinished. Not to mention, the game is riddled with lots of bugs, glitches, and some performance issues that could all go away once they release more updates to the game, because again, this game is in early access. I can't express that word enough. So all in all, I wouldn't lie to you guys, I really enjoyed my time playing this game. I clocked in a total of 20 hours before hitting the early access stop sign. I say I probably did miss some of the quests to add in some more hours, but I think I get the basic understanding of the game to make a review of it. I'd say in that 20 hours, I think the game is only 1/4 finished, or 1/8. Well, by the time of this early access review, I am really excited for more content, and I can't wait for it to be added soon. So the question is, do I recommend this game? Yes. Do I recommend buying it now? Well, that depends. If you really want the feel of the game and having blue balls at the end, then yes, I highly recommend this game. What I don't recommend is, the game feels broken right now with all the bugs and performance issues. I mean, yeah, it'll be ironed out eventually, but some people just don't want to deal with that. So yeah guys, if you guys like the video, smash that like video like it owed you money, and get subscribed for more future content. And this is Alan, I'm signing out. Well, not signing out, I'm just turning off the video recording. How long is this video?
Fanboys!